with a nation already on edge in the coronavirus pandemic as protests turned violent across America.
The nation erupted into scenes of chaos. Dozens of American cities up in flames.
Another grim milestone, the world surpassing 1 million deaths from the coronavirus.
The world is broken. As we sit in awe at the beginning of the decade, we cannot help but think about how to mitigate the problems that plague us today. Global peacefulness has deteriorated due to conflicts, and we must rise together to heal. The new normal has arrived, but now, more than ever, we must embrace each other as one and support one another as we navigate these difficult times. Love is not just an emotional feeling, but it is a tool through which actions are guided. It is a force to bring everyone together. Love allows us to overcome our problems and have the courage to confront each day boldly. It teaches us that no matter what stands in front of us, it cannot defeat the power of love itself. There have been many noble beings who dedicated their life to the betterment of others, those who exemplified love. Gandhi ji saw prem, or love, as a construct from which many noble things were derived. To Bapu, love was resisting injustice with non-violence resistance. Love was service in the community and simple living. Love was embracing the enemy with open arms, oblivious to what was to come in return. Love was the tool through which change was brought in the world because it had the very power to overcome all that challenged it. When Bapu adopted the method of nonviolence resistance, he demonstrated this through acts like the Dundee March, where he gave himself to the noble cause of emancipating the country. He wanted to see his nation stand tall and proud independently and did not fear what he had to do to achieve this. This was love. Gandhiji marched on 240 miles determined to show his dedication to the vision of having a free country. He feared not what lied ahead. Decades later, we remember Bapu as someone who was the epitome of peace, service, and the truth. His trust in the change love could bring resonates with all of us every day. Gandhiji taught us that no matter what stands on the other side, we must act in relation to it with love, and in doing so, realize that we have started the spark for positive change. Similar to Gandhiji, Martin Luther King Jr. saw a better tomorrow for those around him. He saw love as a way to guide action and specifically taught this to those he marched with in Selma, Alabama, and during the Civil Rights Movement in the 1960s. Dr. King adopted Gandhian principles of nonviolence and with it brought a revolution that changed the world. Dr. King was just like Bapu, marched endlessly and fearlessly for a better future, not caring about what obstacles he encountered. This was love at its finest, for no baton or punch could deter him, because he had the power of love on his side. He used this powerful force to guide his steps on the path to freedom, wanting everyone to be treated equally. Dr. King put himself on the front line, committed to making a positive change, doing so by embracing all with open arms and believing that the love would conquer hate. To him, a world where people had equal rights was worth getting arrested, beaten, and pushed down to the ground over and over again. But he utilized the love he had in his heart for all of humanity to overcome those barriers. Mother Teresa was another prime example of someone who taught us the true meaning of love. Mother Teresa dedicated her life to caring for those who were less privileged, elder, and blind, also those who suffered from leprosy. For her, love was put into meaning by action, and that action was through service. Being named a Nobel Peace Prize winner in 1979, she showed the world the power of love. She saw people not as who they were in terms of physical ability or age, but saw them as people who all had the same heart. To her, love was such that it did not measure. It only gave. This is exactly what Bapu had in mind when he said, "Love never claims, it ever gives." By caring for thousands of people in India, Mother Teresa showed us that an act of service is an act of love, and in that is an act of peace. This year has been filled with surprises and frustration, but that does not mean that we must express our anger and rage, for that is merely a tool of the weak. In the end, we must strive to learn from Gandhiji, MLK, and Mother Teresa, that if we are able to be strong and conquer what is troubling us, we must invoke the love inside our hearts and use it as a framework to guide our conduct and action towards each other.